The pileup of cargo that began in September last year appears to be reaching alarming levels, and what was once thought to be a temporary setback to the smooth running of businesses is now turning out to be a major headache for the private sector. While consumers are yet to feel the impact of port congestion, manufacturers are already beginning to count their losses. On a normal day, this assembly division holds up to 110 workers, but the shortage of raw materials has forced the factory to downgrade to about 30 workers per shift.
At risk is a revenue book of close to 250 million shillings just for the month of January.
Delays in offloading cargo also threaten to raise the cost of commodities as importers and manufacturers pass over the additional costs to consumers. Ships are now taking up to a month on the high seas as they await their turn to berth, with offloading taking up to 5 days. To avoid the congestion, some shipping lines are now opting to bypass the port of Mombasa.
It makes us very uncompetitive, and it's unfortunate that this is happening when Kenya is the chair of the East African community. We are embarrassing ourselves within the EAC.
The impact of congestion is also trickling down to the neighboring countries who rely on the port of Mombasa for their own imports.
Many manufacturers are sitting with excellent orders for exports, but we are letting them down.
Transport Permanent Secretary Dr. Cyrus Njeru on Monday this week absolved the government from blame over the congestion that has seen 12,000 containers lying uncollected at the port. The PS instead blamed the private sector for the slow evacuation of cargo and a reluctance to adopt the 24-hour working schedule. But the private sector now says this is not the time for blame games.
Your manufacturers and business people, they bake the national cake, which everybody else in the political class, in parliament, in government, then distributes. And the distributors of the national cake need to understand that the national cake will start to dwindle if the baker does not get the wheat, the sugar, the ingredients to bake the cake.
Wanjiro Gaido, Citizen Business.